The sky tore open, and the Avengers didn't hesitate. Iron Man fired first. Thor called the storm. Hulk leapt to destroy. But something was different this time. The alien didn't fight back. It spoke. It pleaded. It bled like a human. And from the wreckage, Superman blocked the next strike. "He's not your enemy," he said. "He's a refugee." But the Avengers had already declared war, and Earth was about to lose more than just its pride. The sky didn't just crack open, it screamed. A burning tear across Earth's upper atmosphere roared like a dying sun, pulling the clouds apart as a massive alien ship punched through with the force of a planet. Every satellite blinked offline. Every radar lit red, and every Avenger mobilized at once. Iron Man was first to the breach. His HUD overflowed with unfamiliar language, symbols even Jarvis couldn't decode. The ship wasn't broadcasting aggression, but it wasn't broadcasting peace either. And after what happened with Thanos, no one was waiting for confirmation. "I'm not taking chances," Stark said, already charging his repulsors. Thor hurled his hammer before the others could even speak. Hulk leapt from a Quinjet midair and smashed through the ship's lower hull before it even fully entered the stratosphere. Captain Marvel lit up the sky like a second sun, her photon blasts tearing through the edge of the structure like it was paper. The ship began to fall, but it didn't fire back. Instead, a single escape pod ejected, not aimed at New York, not at any military base, but into a desolate mountain range. No weapons, no signal, just one pod, one life form. The Avengers didn't pause. They chased it. When they landed at the crash site, they expected a monster, another invasion leader, maybe even a cloak bomb. But what stepped out was barely 4 feet tall. No armor, no weapons, no translator, just a being, young, weak, bleeding. Hulk raised his fist anyway. Then came the blur. A sonic boom cracked through the mountain as a streak of red and blue split the battlefield. Hulk's punch never landed. A hand stopped it midair. Not just any hand. His. Superman. He stood between Hulk and the alien like a wall of steel. His eyes glowed faintly, not with heat, but with warning. "Don't," he said, voice calm, but filled with command. Iron Man hovered down beside him, helmet retracting. "What is this, Clark? Why are you here?" "I've seen this species before," Superman replied. "He's not an invader. He's a survivor." Black Widow stepped forward, scanning. "Survivor of what?" "Of us," Superman said. He was running from a war, not bringing one. Captain Marvel narrowed her eyes. "We can't just assume." "You don't need to assume," Superman cut in. "I know him." The alien creature looked up, wide-eyed, trembling, hands raised not in threat, but in surrender. Thor's voice rumbled behind them. "Then why approach Earth cloaked? Why flee from our skies like a coward?" "Because last time he came here," Superman said, turning slowly, "you weren't the ones who found him. I was." Flashback. Years ago, during one of Superman's patrols outside Earth's magnetic field, he intercepted a tiny signal, a distress beacon buried in subspace. The message was short, repeated, broken. Help. Not weapon. Not war. Not one of them. Superman found the ship, a floating casket full of injured children. Only one had survived. Vex. Kal-El brought him to a Kryptonian pod hidden in Antarctica, treated him, spoke to him, learned from him. Vex wasn't just any alien. He was a memory storage unit, biological, engineered to retain knowledge of wars long lost, planets destroyed, and ancient technologies erased by cosmic governments that wanted no witnesses. And now those same forces were chasing him again. The Avengers didn't know this, but Superman did. Back in the present, Iron Man scanned Vex again. No weapons, no defenses, no viral signatures. Whatever he is, he's not here to fight. Then why not land and ask for asylum? Captain Marvel asked sharply. "Because Earth doesn't have a good record with things that look different," Superman replied. "Last time we gave a being like this to the UN, they dissected him in 3 hours." No one spoke. Wind whipped through the mountain as tension grew. Vex took a step back. Superman held out a hand to steady him. Then a portal opened. It wasn't one of Strange's. It was jagged, violent, a rip in space-time tethered to something deep beyond Earth's gravitational shadow. A dark fleet emerged. 6 ships, black like oil. No insignias, no lights, just silence, until a voice echoed from the air, distorted and mechanical. Return the data vessel, or Earth becomes witness zero. Hulk clenched his fists. Thor summoned lightning. Iron Man's armor shifted into battle mode. Superman didn't move. "We can't win this fight," he said. "Not without losing half the planet." Iron Man scoffed. "You really gonna stop us from defending Earth?" "I'm stopping you from starting its funeral," Superman said. The lead alien ship began charging a silent energy field. Something undetectable. No blast zones. No target lock. Just rising radiation. Vex spoke for the first time, voice high, panicked. "Not here. Not again." They erased memory. Not just people. History. They burned time itself. Captain Marvel stepped forward. "Then let's burn them first." "No," Superman said. "That's what they want." The sky began to ripple. Thunder rolled with no lightning. Birds fell from the air. All across Earth, satellites and drones began going dark. Then Superman made a choice. He turned to Vex and whispered something none could hear. The alien nodded and touched Superman's chest with a glowing hand. A sudden pulse hit Kal-El's heart. His pupils dilated, and the fleet paused. Superman floated upward, golden energy now weaving around his body. "I've uploaded part of his memory into me," he called out. "If you destroy him, I still hold the data." A pause. Then the ships turned. One final message played through the clouds. "Kal-El of Krypton, you have extended asylum, but Earth has not. Consider this planet watched." The rift closed. Silence. Thor stepped back. "You endangered us all." "I saved you from yourselves," Superman said. Iron Man folded his helmet back on. "This isn't over." "No," Superman replied, cradling Vex in his arms. "It's just beginning." The Earth was safe, for now. But the Avengers had a new problem. Not just alien empires, but Superman choosing who to protect, even when it wasn't human. They didn't speak to each other for hours. Not when they regrouped. Not when the skies cleared. Not when the alien fleet vanished into space like a fading nightmare. The Avengers stood in silence, scattered across the mountain ridge, wind howling between them like the echo of a decision no one wanted to admit had already been made. Superman stood with Vex in his arms, floating just above the ground. His cape barely moved, but his presence felt heavier than gravity. He wasn't asking permission anymore. He had already chosen a side, and it wasn't theirs. Iron Man broke first. "We need to talk," he said, mask folding back as he stepped forward. "Now." Superman's eyes locked on him. Not glowing, not threatening, just unreadable. "You nearly got Earth flagged as a hostile system," Tony continued. "You uploaded alien data into your body. You taunted an empire that deletes civilizations like bookmarks." "I prevented a war," Superman replied. "No, you postponed it," Stark snapped. "You bought us time by turning yourself into their hard drive." Thor stepped beside him, storm still dancing across his shoulders. "You act without counsel, without warning. That is not protection. That is power unchecked." Superman didn't flinch. "You destroyed their ship without asking a single question." "That's called defense," Captain Marvel cut in from above. "We don't get to hesitate anymore. Not after Titan. Not after the blip." Superman turned to her. "That boy was running. You chased him down like prey." Wanda Maximoff hovered in slowly, eyes fixed on Vex. "Why did they call him a data vessel?" Superman gently lowered the alien to a rock outcrop, shielding him with his body. "Because he doesn't just remember, he stores. He was genetically engineered to archive galactic memory, history, proof, crimes committed by the empire that built those ships." "Which empire?" asked Black Panther, voice low. "They don't have a name," Superman answered. "Because they erased themselves from memory. That's their weapon. Not missiles. Forgetting. They don't just win wars. They make it so the wars were never remembered. Silence fell again. Hawkeye adjusted his grip on his bow. So what? If they kill this little guy, no one remembers his people ever existed. Superman nodded. And now that I've shared his memory, I'm the second target. Dr. Strange opened a portal nearby. We can hide him in the mirror dimension. Shield him from scans. Even the Time Stone once failed to track anomalies there. No, Superman said sharply. If we start hiding him like a prisoner, we confirm their fear. That Earth can't be trusted with something pure. Tony's voice grew colder. You're putting 7 billion people on the line for one alien child. Superman stepped forward. I'm putting myself between Earth and a genocide. Again. Carol hovered closer. You've got a God complex, Clark. And you've got a guilt complex, Carol. Superman fired back. Trying to fix your past by controlling this future. Thor's hammer lifted. Just slightly. So did Superman's gaze. Then the sky trembled. Not from the ships. Not from a weapon. But from a ripple. Time buckled, reality thinned. A moment ago, there were clouds. Then there weren't. Then there were two versions of each Avenger, flickering, overlapping, glitching like a broken film. Vex screamed. Strange clenched both fists. Temporal compression field. They're testing our dimensional structure. They're trying to delete parts of history, Superman said. And this is just a warning. Hulk staggered, gripping his own chest like memories were being torn from his brain. Wanda threw up a hex shield, but her own reflection inside it whispered a different name, one she didn't recognize. Tony's HUD flashed a system error. You have no birth date on record. They're erasing us already, he muttered. And then it stopped. Just like that. Everything stabilized. Time returned to normal. But everyone felt it. Not like an attack. Like a demo. Superman turned to them, eyes blazing. You still want to hand him over? Captain America stepped through the portal late. He'd been off-world with SWRD. His shield was already out, voice calm. We don't hand over kids. Not on Earth. Not anywhere. Tony raised a hand. It's not about turning him over. It's about figuring out what we're protecting. We're protecting truth, Superman said. That's what they're really trying to kill. Wanda nodded slowly. We need to see what he's hiding. Vex looked up, shivering. He touched his temple, and a hologram burst to life. Thousands of worlds, names of species, battlefields, galactic war crimes, political betrayals, superweapons lost to time. Whole civilizations vanished from memory. Their data gone. Their languages unrecorded. In the center of the projection was a black insignia, not a logo, but a negative space. The absence of identity, the mark of the erasers. And behind them, a shadowed figure with a face none could describe, as if the brain refused to remember it. This, Superman whispered, is who's coming. Captain Marvel hovered higher. Then we stop them before they reach us. Superman shook his head. They've already been here. What do you mean? Chala asked. They didn't come to fight, Kal-El said. They came to test if Earth remembers what matters. If we treat the helpless as threats. If we destroy what we don't understand. And we fail, Wanda said. Superman nodded. Until now. Suddenly, Vex collapsed. Superman caught him. His skin dimming, glowing patterns fading. He's burning out, Strange warned. He wasn't meant to share his memory with two hosts. He's fragmenting. Then we find a way to stabilize him, Superman said. No, Vex whispered. Too late. They come now. The sky didn't scream this time. It fell silent. No wind. No clouds. No birds. Just a single beam of unnatural light descending from space. Not an attack. A retrieval signal. A pull. And Vex's body began to disintegrate into particles of light. Superman clutched him tighter. No. The beam intensified. Then, without warning, Vex reached up, touched Kal-El's temple one final time, and whispered a word in an ancient tongue. Every Avenger heard it in their minds. Remember me. Vex vanished. The sky closed. No invasion. No fire. No ships. Just absence. Superman stood there, arms empty, heart full of something no Kryptonian biology could defend against: grief. Iron Man stepped beside him, quiet. "What did he give you?" Superman didn't speak. His eyes burned, but not with heat vision, with tears. No one moved. The silence after Vex's final whisper felt louder than the fleet's arrival, louder than Hulk's punches or Thor's storms. Superman stood still, arms empty, eyes distant. Every Avenger around him felt it, somewhere between grief and guilt, like they'd lost more than just a creature. They'd lost a test, and failed. But Tony Stark wasn't done. He turned, armor scraping with tension. "Tell me you downloaded something before he vanished." Superman didn't look at him. Not something. Everything. In the moments before Vex disappeared, he had shared all of it. Not just memories, not just history. A map. One that couldn't be stored in Stark systems. One that required something stronger than encryption. It required trust. Superman's mind now held the only trace of an erased galactic genocide. And the enemies who had done it? They now knew exactly who to target. Thor's voice cut through the wind. "Where do we strike next?" Superman turned, slow and firm. "We don't. You would have us wait?" Thor boomed. "For another beam from the sky? Another child to sacrifice himself?" "We need to understand them," Superman said. "We can't punch what we don't remember." Strange nodded. "They don't operate in the physical. They delete through time, through perception. They don't just erase people. They erase possibility." Carol's fist glowed. "Then we make them see us." "They already do," Superman answered. "They saw how we treated him. That was their judgment." Wanda looked up. What if it wasn't just about Vex? Everyone turned. "What if they weren't testing him? They were testing you," she asked, pointing slowly at the group. "The Avengers. Superman. All of Earth's mightiest. To see if you'd protect the one thing that had no defense." Black Panther stepped closer. "And now that they've seen our answer, what comes next?" Superman's eyes flickered red, not out of rage, but readiness. "Now they test our memory. How long we remember him. How long we remember what we failed to save." Suddenly, a strange hum cut through the air. Not alien, not magical, digital. Tony's HUD blared to life. "I've got a ping. Deep space anomaly. No ship. No signal. Just a glitch." "Like a hole in reality?" Strange asked. "Like something's chewing through code," Tony replied. Superman's head snapped up. "It's them." Another distortion cracked the air, only this time it wasn't a sky event. It was ground level. Just behind them, a rift tore open in the mountain itself. Not wide, no lightning, no wind. Just a slice, a paper-thin line vibrating with quantum static. From it, nothing emerged. Literally nothing. No creature, no sound, just a void. And where the void passed, trees vanished. Rocks blinked out of existence. Even shadows disappeared. "Back," Superman ordered, grabbing Wanda and Carol. "Everyone move. Now." But the void didn't chase. It selected. It shifted toward one figure. Captain America. Steve raised his shield just in time, but it didn't matter. The moment the void touched his armor, his memories stuttered. He gasped, staggered, looked around. Why am I here?" Wanda screamed. "They're editing him. Shield your mind." Strange shouted. Superman lunged forward, crashing into Steve, pulling him from the edge of the void. The shield clanged to the ground. When Steve looked up, his face was pale. "I forgot Peggy." Tony froze. "What?" "She's gone," Steve said. "I remember the name, but the face, her voice, the smell of her perfume. He broke off, breath catching. Superman placed a hand on his shoulder. "They're not just erasing history anymore. They're targeting emotion," Wanda whispered. "They want to rip the soul from our memories." Thor threw Mjolnir into the rift, but the hammer stopped mid-air and hung motionless, vibrating as if unsure it ever existed. Then it was spat out, burning, altered. The handle was made of a material no one recognized. The runes were missing. Thor caught it, looked at it, and for a split second didn't know what it was. Superman stepped forward. "They've changed tactics." "No more threats," said Strange grimly. Now they rewrite the battlefield, and us with it. Iron Man's armor glitched. I just lost 10 years of suit data. Blueprints I designed myself. They are gone, like I never built them. Carol floated above the ridge. Then what's the play? We wait until we all forget why we exist. No, Superman said. We go deeper. Into what? Stark snapped. You want to fly into their void and remember harder? We go into the memory Vex gave me, Superman said. All of us. Strange blinked. You're talking about a shared psychic projection. I'm talking about a recall mission, Superman replied. If they erase reality, then we create one inside my mind that remembers it. That preserves it. Dangerous, Wanda warned. If they track us there. They will, Superman said. But if we survive inside the memory, we'll bring back more than truth. We'll bring back evidence. Tony looked around. Everyone on board with this suicide mission into Superman's brain. Hulk grunted. As long as it ain't another wormhole. Thor nodded. If it preserves the 9 realms, I shall endure. Carol cracked her knuckles. Let's do it. Wanda stepped forward. We go in. We anchor every lost face, every forgotten war, every erased scream. We become their record. Superman closed his eyes and let the memory open. A pulse of light radiated from his forehead, and within seconds, the mountaintop faded. The Avengers were no longer standing on Earth. They were inside Vex's last memory, inside a world that no longer existed, but refused to be forgotten. A dead civilization rebuilt by thought alone. A battlefield of broken stars, shattered gods, and ghost cities made of light. And at the center, a statue of Vex, burning, crying, alive only in memory. And if the Avengers couldn't protect that, there'd be nothing left to protect at all. They landed in silence. No wind, no sound, just echoes of destruction embedded into the psychic soil beneath their feet. A graveyard of stars, frozen in time. The memory world Vex had left behind wasn't made of buildings or sky. It was made of remembrance. Every object glowed faintly with trauma. Every shadow whispered names that had been erased. Iron Man's HUD flickered, glitching against the memory code. This place is unstable. Superman didn't answer. He was staring at a tower, tall, narrow, carved with hundreds of names that shifted every time he blinked. A monument to Vex people. Wanda's voice was barely a whisper. It's beautiful and broken. Suddenly, the sky overhead shattered like glass, a crack ripping through the artificial atmosphere. A black fog poured in, hungry and fast. They found us, Strange said. They're rewriting the memory while we're inside it. Thor summoned lightning. But when he raised Mjolnir, it didn't spark. It melted. Like even the idea of thunder had been forgotten. They're targeting concepts now, said Carol. We're losing the power to fight. Superman turned. Then don't fight it. He closed his eyes and let the fog approach. The darkness surged, but it paused just inches from him, swirled, waited. Superman opened his mouth and spoke Vex's name. The fog shrieked, then recoiled. Wanda's eyes went wide. It's vulnerable to memory, not weapons. Emotion hurts it. Tony stepped forward. Then we give it everything. They formed a circle, hands not touching, but thoughts sinking. Wanda channeled every face she remembered from Sokovia. Strange summoned echoes of forgotten dimensions. Carol dug into childhood moments she hadn't thought about in decades. Chala focused on Wakanda's deepest histories, ones never written down. Superman stood at the center. He remembered Vex, not as a data vessel, not as a target, as a friend. And the world fought back. The memory landscape ignited. The black fog began to burn like paper caught in a solar flare. Light poured through the cracks in the sky as forgotten memories returned. Not just Vex, but fragments of worlds Earth had never known. Empires lost, peace treaties broken, children taken. The monument of names exploded, but instead of dust, it sent out pulses of light. Each pulse a truth, each truth a weapon. Then a voice filled the void. Remembering is rebellion. The shadow being appeared, for the first time visible. a shifting figure with no face, only reflections of those it had erased. Vex's eyes, a Wakandan crown, a Kryptonian crest. It was all the victims. It was none of them. You protect echoes, the shadow snarled. We delete futures. Superman stepped forward. And that's why you'll lose. The beam lunged. But this wasn't Earth. This wasn't their rules. The Avengers didn't use force. They used memory. Wanda screamed the name of her brother. Thor shouted the story of his first fall. Strange whispered the moment he shattered his hands and learned humility. Carol said her mother's name. And Kal-El? He said Vex. One word. And the sky exploded with light. The shadow screamed, not in pain, in fear. Then it collapsed. The fog vanished. The memory sealed. The team stood among stars, once dead, now glowing again. Tony spoke first. We just made remembering a weapon. No, Superman said quietly. We just made a shield. And Earth, for now, was safe. The memory faded like smoke lifting at sunrise. One moment, they were standing in the heart of a forgotten civilization, stars blazing in a sky of pain, and the next they were back on the mountain ridge. Real Earth, real air, real silence. But it wasn't the same mountain anymore. The snow had melted into grass. The burned trees were blooming. The ground, once scarred by battle, was now marked only by a single stone. A memorial, small, simple. One name carved into it, in a script none of them spoke, but all of them understood. Vex. Superman stood before it, fists unclenched. His cape dragged across the dirt, as if even it remembered the weight of what had been lost. Tony stepped beside him. They're gone. Superman nodded. For now. They can't unmake what's burned into memory. Thor stared at the stone. So remembering him was victory? No, Wanda whispered. Remembering him was defiance. Doctor Strange floated slightly above the ground, eyes half closed. That battle was just a draft. The real war is for every truth we're told to forget. Carol crossed her arms. So we keep this truth alive. Spread it. Let people know what really happened. Black Panther stepped forward. No, we don't broadcast this. We protect it. Memory is sacred, not propaganda. The debate froze when a spark danced across the air. A ripple shimmered just above the stone, a final echo of Vex's energy, forming a small projection, a starlight map. Superman reached out and it pulsed. New coordinates, new systems, survivors. They weren't the only ones, he murmured. Others escaped, others hid. Wanda's eyes widened. Vex didn't just save history, he gave us the future. Suddenly, a shield transmission broke through Stark system. Unidentified vessel entering orbit. No weapons detected. One life form. Repeating message. Seeking the protector. The one who remembered. Superman looked to the sky. Another came. Another survivor. Tony glanced at the team. So this is the new job? No, Kal-El said, lifting into the air, eyes toward space. This was always the job. Protecting life wasn't about strength. It was about memory. Because forgetting is how the worst things return. And from this day forward, Earth would remember. Because Superman did. Because the Avengers did. Because we do.